Good morning again, and this is part two, as I've just finished part one. And I turned the camera around to give you a different view so that somebody will think, hey, she's done that on a different day. But I brought my little white shirt because I wanted to show you how cute it is. But look, can you see? I still cannot get that makeup stain out. I mean, I've put everything on there, but slop. I've scrubbed it and scrubbed it. Now it's really fading, but if anybody has any suggestions, and this material, I've thought, I bet it's the material is why I probably can't get it out, because if you have like a t-shirt, I think all that I put on that shirt, it would have brought it out. But I'm not going to worry about it because I can afford to buy another one if I want it. But somebody had asked me in a comment, did I try dish or Dawn dishwasher detergent? And yes, I did. That was one of the first things I tried because, I know that's supposed to bring out just about everything. But I guess I don't buy anything new very often. Then when I get something, I've worn it one, no, I've worn it one time because the second time I was going to wear it, remember I couldn't find it and my girl had it on her bed saying, oh, I'm going to wear it tonight. And then she didn't wear it. That stinker. But anyway, I told you that I was going to do a part one. Well, I didn't call it part one, but we'll call it part one. And this is part two because it's the same day. I've just turned the camera around to give you a little different background. And if you watch out that door, that's the front door, you might see some traffic going by because we're on Main Street at my little house. This is still June the 19th. Can you realize that June is almost gone? My girl keeps saying, Mom, surely, it's July is going to slow down. I said, I'm afraid it won't. Do you know that tomorrow, she's working at the pool today. Tomorrow night at 5, her and one of her friends and her mom, that girl's mom, are going to Florida. And they've rented a house. That's her graduation gift. And they're going to stay a week. So guess who's going to feed the horses? But we are still talking about getting rid of them. And, that just breaks my heart, but it's got to be done. And we called a lady in Lexington this week, and she's gave us somebody else's name. I know there's somebody that would love to have this one horse because he's 9, or he'll be, hey, no, he's 9 this month, but he's still young and he's broke to ride, and he's the light colored one, beautiful horse. And I was going to say her dad and I, but I'm going to say I have agreed with my girl to keep the older horse and board it at her friend's house. She said, I just want to keep her till she dies because you don't know, we might sell her to somebody and then they'd be mean to her. And, of course, I can't stand that. I would be I'd be buying the horse back double what I sold it for. My husband don't agree with this at all, but he knows that 2 women against 1 sick man doesn't have a chance in the world. So he just kind of sits, he'll have the TV on, he's over there in his recliner. And so yesterday we went over there and or day before, talking about this horse business, Well, this is what we've decided to do. What do you think? It don't matter what he thinks. He's just got to go with the flow. But we were going through all this, we talked to this woman in Lexington. She gave us the name of this person and we're going to call them and blah, 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 blah. We're going to sell Casper and keep Hershey and board her out here. And what do you think? He pauses the TV because we tell him to. And then we talk to him. And then he'll just push the button because, conversation over because He don't have a vote. And we was talking to him the other day about this. He just pushed that pause button to unpause it. And I said, you stop that TV and listen. He said, why? You know, we've already made the decision. So, we just want to find little Casper a good home. I tell my girl, it's not fair to him to keep him, both of these horses over here in a field. We're feeding them grain every day. They're munching around on the field. They've got fresh water straight from a spring that's wonderful. But nobody is enjoying them. And he needs to be ridden. He would be such a wonderful horse for someone to ride. And it's not being fair to him. I know it's going to work out. I prayed about it. Lord, help us find a good buyer. We want the right person to buy him and ride him and let him enjoy life. I just hate to separate them, but they're going to have to be separated. But I'm not going to dwell on it because you know what that causes. Now, it's what I was wanting to talk about in this video is our trip yesterday. I wish I could just, I had said in the other video how I got up this morning. My heart was so full of thankfulness, gratefulness, love. Just, it was a hard trip. It's hard for these old people to travel, in case you don't know that. I got up at 3 o'clock yesterday morning, which was okay. I mean, I am super good at getting up in the morning because that's my time. If I don't run the Swiffer by about 10 or 11 o'clock, you can forget it, sister, because as my brother-in-law used to say, by noon, the day's over. If you've not got nothing done, forget it. So I got up at 3, got my girl up at 3:30. She was not in the best of moods, to say the least. She was kind of puffed up, but I was my smiling, sweet self. And she said, do you know that I woke up at 1:30 and I've been awake off and on since then? And I said, oh, is that right? But then the night before, she was talking on the phone till who knows when. So there wasn't much sympathy here from old Mom. But anyway, we left the house at 4:15. It was dark. It was a little rainy, not bad rainy. Oh, it could have been so much worse. And number one, do you know anybody that likes to drive in the dark? I do not. I never have. Even never. And where we live, there are so many deer. I mean, you just see deer dead on the roadside all the time, year-round anymore. And, you know, sometime after my girl started driving herself and then she would ride with me some, she'd say, you gonna drive 50 the whole way or 45 or whatever? And I'll say, I'm old, I'm getting tuned in here, just hold on. But then whenever I get going, I get going pretty good. So we left the house at 4:15. We had to be there at 6:30 our time. We didn't have to be there at 6:30 our time, but from 6:30 to 7 they were registering people. Well, you know, it's not like we're the only ones that's going to be there. This is freshmen at the University of Kentucky, which there were hundreds of people there. I can't even make a guess how many. Hundreds. Plus, you know, my worry was getting in that parking garage and finding a place, because my husband and you know, when we went up there for his treatments, sometimes you couldn't even find a place in the parking garage. We had to go to the top floor. So, and I am one that is going to be there a little early if at all possible. That's just what is ingrained in me. And I like that. I don't like to be running late. And I don't like for someone to say, well, she was late every day at work. When you're a school teacher, you cannot be late. You better be there early and have your ducks in a row or you're going to regret it. So we had a very nice trip up there. We didn't talk much because she didn't feel good. She was tired. And I said, why don't you take you a nap? She didn't. But, we got up the road a little ways. And I had my hand on, moving. I was trying to kind of move around a little bit every once in a while. I had my hand laying on the console, and she reached over and put her little hand in mine like this. And I looked over at her, and she just smiled at me. Just such love coming out of her eyes. And I said, we're going to have a good time today, aren't we? And she said, yeah. So, but sometimes people don't want to be talked to. I'm like, when I get up in the morning, I don't want to start carrying on a conversation. Just don't even talk. My husband will get up. We don't say a word. I get up, get his medicine, get his water, fix his coffee, bring him a cup of coffee. We don't say a word. That keeps peace. Because people are not ready for big conversations at 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. All right. Granny Pat, I want you to know we were up there on Nicholasville Road. We go to 127 to Danville, and then we get on 27 and go into Lexington, and then you hit Nicholasville Road. You would have thought you were driving here in my town. The traffic was not bad at all. There's like 4 or 5 lanes of traffic, 3 and on one side, 2 on the other. And it's where we were going was down past the University of Kentucky Hospital. We got in that parking garage, honey. We could have parked in the first level if we wanted to. There were a zillion empty spaces. There were already some cars there. But my girl said, let's go up to the 3rd floor, and then I think it's the 3rd floor, and then there's a covered walkway to get over close to where we were going. I wore comfortable shoes. I wore a 3/4 length sleeve shirt because I know that, in a lot of these places they'll have the air conditioning on where you kill hogs. The only thing I kind of regretted is that I did not take a little sweater or a little jacket. Because let me tell you, that room we were in, it was freezing cold. Some of those little girls that are about the size of my finger, they were so little, and they had on these little bitty tops with just little T-straps and bottoms up to their hind end. I thought you might look cute, but I bet I'm warmer than you are. And even the mothers, a lot of the mothers were dressed like that too, so. But see, I'm just not into that. I'm just an old woman, just wears I wear it for comfort. Like my girl had on this pair of tennis shoes, and I said, I thought those weren't comfortable. I was afraid we was going to have to walk a lot. She said, Mom, they're not. But it's not comfort. It's look that you have to be going for. I said, not me. I'm going for comfort. But she didn't complain, but we didn't have to walk too much. We got up there, just got the best little parking place ever was, walked across the covered way, and then went to this student center that is huge, about 3 or 4 floors. And we all went in, met in this one room and had a little get-together meeting. And then the kids went out and they registered for their classes. I went to a different class that was just about the stuff parents need to know and stuff. We ate lunch. We went to, sessions throughout the day. We went to the bookstore. And then about 3 o'clock, well, it may be, about 2:30 my time, we decided to come home because she was really tired. And I actually was probably doing better than she was. I said, I'm ready. But if you want to stay for the last session, we will. A lot of this stuff that we were told yesterday is information that we had already heard like 2 or 3 other times that we've been up there. But see, a lot of these people that were there yesterday are like from out of state, or they haven't been up there before. And all through the day, I was just so grateful and thankful, and for your prayers, because I could feel them. And when we got ready to leave, I had told her, when we get in the car and start to come home, if you want to drive, she don't really like to drive my car because it's longer than hers is, and she's not used to driving it. And I just never have been much one to say, "Hey, do you want to drive my car?" They're too hard to come by. But anyway, she said, "Do you want me to drive?" And I said, "I feel fine. I feel like driving." And I know she was tired because she goes nonstop. She don't get those naps like I do. So we got in the car. Honey, the traffic was not bad. We somehow, thank you, Lord, missed all that traffic of people getting off work. Granny Pat, you know how bad it is because my husband and me had gotten in it a few times. We got out of that town just like whipperty snapperty and got down the road, and we stopped and ate at Panera Bread. We both love to eat at Panera Bread. And if you ever eat there, we love those bread bowls. They look like little pumpkins, but they're made out of, they're yeast bread, and then you can get soup in them. But listen, my girl is a bread and a pasta eater. And until she comes to her senses and stops that, she is not going to lose 1 ounce of weight. And she knows it. I don't have to tell her. She knows it. She got a bread bowl with macaroni and cheese in it. She said, "I've not eaten nothing all day." Well, that's true because I had kind of nibbled on some hard candy and stuff because that's just the way I am. I got a bread bowl with this Mexican type soup in it. And, I can't taste, but it had just a little bit of hot, like jalapeno peppers or some kind of hot pepper. But it was filling. And I brought the bread bowl home because I thought I might put some, what was it I was going to put in it? Something. You can't throw stuff like that away. It's too good. It was, that bread is just, if you've never eaten at Panera Bread, it's one of my favorite places to eat when we're out. We got home, and I felt pretty good. And when I walked in the door, I said, "Thank the Lord we have had a safe trip, a good trip, profitable." She learns, she got to register for her classes. And we had a wonderful day. So then I stretched out on the couch. It was about 6 o'clock, I guess. She fed the horses. We both went to bed about 9 o'clock last night. I remember when I get in the bed, that's when I pray whenever I get in the bed. Honey, I don't think I made it past. I have, and I don't mean for it to be a routine prayer, but there's certain things that I pray for every day. This morning when I woke up, I thought, I don't remember getting past my first little section of things I pray for. I was that tired, and I slept like a log. And I got up at 5:30 this morning. And here I am just bouncing around like a 16-year-old. But we had a great day, and it was great. You know what? I've got some more things that I want to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about them because I've just overloaded you all with all this stuff today that I don't know if you can take it all in. But listen, it's a wonderful day, and no, the sun is not shining, but it has cooled up just a snip. And right now, I'm going to go home. I got to stop at the dollar store. But this morning I asked my husband, I said, "How would you like to have some salmon patties?" Now, see, it's easy for me to say, "Would you like this and this?" And then, because I'm thinking 2 or 3 hours later, I'm going to cook it. And then when 2 or 3 hours later comes, I said, "How would you like some salmon patties today?" And he said, "Well, I was kind of thinking about chicken and dumplings again." And I said, "All right." So I had 4 chicken strips, about like this, in the freezer. So this morning I put them in some bouillon water and I boiled them. And so he'll eat probably about 2 o'clock or something. So that's what he's going to have. Oh, and I did forget this one thing whenever the day before I went to the doctor, I thought, one thing I think that is wrong with me is that I eat too many sweets. I love sweets. I love these big blueberry muffins you can get at the grocery, or you can get them at Walmart. And of a morning, I'll heat me up one of those in the microwave and eat it and drink milk. You know me and milk. And then I will feel, like droopy drawers. So I've diagnosed myself thinking I've got to get off. I'm not getting off sugar, but I am really going to cut down on my sweets that I eat. So the last few mornings I've been eating scrambled eggs and bacon or country ham and a piece of toast with butter. And when I did that the first day, which that was Monday, I did that before I went to the doctor on Tuesday. That day, I did not eat any sweets. And I could tell that I felt more level. And just like my doctor said, she said, when you eat sugar, you spike and then you drop and and that's what I've been doing. And I know that that's what's doing it. So, see, I can diagnose myself most of the time. But hey, let's have a great day. This is Thursday. Friday, my girl's going to leave. Please remember her in prayer as they travel. They're going to drive down so far, spend the night. She's so excited. I don't think she'll be satisfied for a whole week laying on the beach. She thinks she will, but we'll see. And I don't know if I'll be able to make a video tomorrow or not, but I might. If no, she's probably going to be home. We'll just see how it works out, okay? But y'all take care. And let's just be nice and keep remembering each one of you. And I appreciate everybody that watches these videos. So I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.